guys, I'm Ivan, and this is my first devlog for making a pixel survival game. So I was thinking the game would be something like a 7x7 grid of pixels, or something like that. I might change it later. There would be a yellow pixel for the player, and these like gray ones would be the rocks, darker ones would be metal, and green, of course, grass. I'll just think of more stuff as I work on it, but this is the plan for now. So I booted up the project, and I'm not sure what to name the game, but I'll just call it Pixel Game for now. It took me an embarrassingly large amount of time to decide on how large the pixels would be. Of course, they aren't like actually like literal pixels, but basically squares of just one color. So I made a grass pixel that would serve as the ground. I then made the player's yellow pixel and gave it some really basic movement, up, down, left, right. It was moving a little too fast, which wasn't really fitting for the game, so I made it so that one key press only moved it one pixel. Then I added colliders to the ground so that the player wouldn't go out of bounds off the grass. Before I realized that since my movement code was just directly updating the position of the player just goes right through the colliders. I'm pretty sure there's a better solution out there, but I just added colliders to the four sides of the player so that the player checks the four directions and can't move in a certain direction if there's something there. Also, at this point, I gave up on the idea of a 7x7 or like 9x9 square grid of pixels, since I think that like the current format just looks better and allows for more area. It would be a nice clickbait, but I think the small area would just be too limiting for anything that I want to add. I then made a rock, wood, and tree branch pixels, which I can use to make trees with. I also added the Cinemachine camera, so it now follows the player around. I made 3 types of trees, a large, medium, and small, and a metal pixel. I also increased the land with a grass sprite that's 500 by 500. I then made a script to randomly generate the different resources throughout the area. Alright, I made a simple title screen and buttons to go to the game scene, and that'll just have to do for now. The game's name is Pixurvive, and I definitely didn't ask ChatGPT. The play button was having some issues with not actually going to the scene, but now it's fixed. I then added the ability for the player to like just click on resource pixels and just delete them. Next, I wanted to add movement, where if you just hold down the key, you would just continue moving, because currently you would have to continue spamming the keys in order to move. For some reason, the player would not stop moving once I pressed the down keys. After half an hour of debugging, it turned out to be a single spelling mistake. What a classic programming moment. Now that was fixed, but another issue was that if you press down the keys, the player could go right through the colliders, so he would go out of bounds again. So yeah, I had to fix that again. Next, I wanted to make it so that the player would only be able to destroy pixels once they are close enough. I then made a health bar for the player. It just consisted of 10 red sprites. I made a hunger bar in a similar fashion, and I made both of them a little more transparent, so it's a little easier to see what's behind them. It's also a little easier to distinguish how many pixels are left in the health and hunger bars by the lines. Got a really big error for the hunger bar. I fixed the problem, and the hunger bar should decrease every 30 blocks that you move. Can you tell what this new pixel is? Yeah, it's a rabbit, obviously. It just moves around randomly for now, and occasionally stops in place. And then I also had to add some code so that the rabbit doesn't go out of bounds. I made it so that the player, once they are close enough to the rabbit will run away in a random direction. And then I made a script to generate the rabbits randomly throughout the land, but there was a pretty big error. I fixed the problem in the rabbit's code, so it works now, but it is a little laggy with so many rabbits, so I also reduced the number of rabbits. And that's about it for this devlog. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.